to this week's hashtag Finance Friday. If you joined in with us last week, you heard us talking about budgeting, the process, the pros and no cons of budgeting. And this week we are looking at a couple of budgeting tools that you can use to make sure that you are budgeting correctly. Now, if budgeting means that we can see into the future, can we maybe call budgeting software our glasses that help us to see more clearly? Right? Almost like the crystal ball, but not quite. Now, in the world of entrepreneurship, we want everything to be easier, right? There are enough difficult things in our life that we need to try and simplify what we can. So ultimately, we look for ways that we can make budgeting more effective and more efficient and less time consuming and less stressful and less of a headache, right? So we have gladly done the work for you. Okay, and we will be sharing some of the tools that you can use to make sure that your budgeting is more manageable. So maybe let's just start this off with contextualizing why we should be using budgeting software. Like, isn't it untrustworthy, right? Like maybe it's just better to use pen and paper. Well, manual budgeting actually eats up a lot of our resources. If you think about how much time you spend if you had to calculate everything on a piece of paper, it's really inefficient. Even with Excel, as amazing as Excel is, and we'll come back to that as an option, definitely, there is still quite a lot of manual intervention that is required, which means that it is quite open to human error. And it takes our staff a whole lot longer to generate reports and to be able to process larger transactions in the same way. And if we're using pen and paper, if you think about it, it can get damaged or lost really easily. The number of times that I've accidentally thrown away a piece of paper that I should have kept is not for discussion today. But we don't want to be in that situation. Okay, it's really unsafe. So instead, with budgeting software, we make sure that all the data is in one place. It can help us to resolve mathematical functions through inbuilt functionality and features. And it helps to make sure that your systems are backed up. So all of the information is backed up and it's secure. Okay. And honestly, data entry can be done in a few single clicks. Okay. So much more efficient than using a pen and paper approach. So then you might be like, okay, cool. I now understand why I should be using software, but how do I go about choosing a budgeting tool? Some of the best tools for writing a detailed budget and sticking to it include software programs that go beyond just Microsoft Excel or other spreadsheet programs. As much as I really like Excel, okay, there are other options. And you might already be utilizing things like PayPal or maybe PayFast or other points of sale systems. And like these software programs, they offer tools for writing a budget and tracking revenue and expenses. Now, when looking at a specific budgeting software program, you usually want to look for a couple of specific features. Firstly, some sort of departmentalized budgeting, which helps you to have the ability to create a budget per department or per division or profit center. And at the end of the day, be able to merge them all into or consolidate them all into one big master budget. And then secondly, look for something that has collaboration features, okay? That helps you to give this responsibility to more than just yourself and be able to work with department heads within your business to be able to make sure that you get their buy-in into the process as well. And thirdly, look for some sort of variance comparison. So giving you the ability to see actual versus budgeted amounts on a line-by-line basis. And at the end of the day, as you would have heard us say often in our conversations with the Blue Ninjas, is that it is all about choosing the tool and software that works for you. Don't only look for a tool because we've told you to, but find the one that works best for you. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is just to run through 5 suggested budgeting software tools that you can use to help your money management. And a lot of these will be linked to personal finance, but we might link in 1 or 2 that are relating specifically to your business. Okay, so firstly, 227.com is amazing. It's not the only one of its type, but this is a tool by Old Mutual, but it helps you to budget and track your spending on all of your accounts, like not just your bank accounts, but smart shopper points, clicks cards, all sorts of things. And it also helps you to invest towards your life goals. So this is really great to be able to see all your money in one place, and it generates a budget that is based on your spending, but you can also go and change those manually. And it shows you how much you spend per month and how that tracks against the budget that you have set for yourself. It will automatically update and sort all your transactions from all your different accounts, whether it's a transfer or an investment. There's a mobile app. It gives regular and relevant insights about your money. It compares you to other people and says, hey, you spent more than the average person on takeout this month, for example. And it gives you the opportunity to be able to invest as little as 250 Rand per month. And most importantly is it's free. Okay. Now, just as a disclaimer, you know what they say, if it is free, then you are the product. Okay. So just to say that this information is processed in the back end to be able to get to the point where you're able to have some really useful insights. Okay. So they are using the data, not necessarily to build up a profile about you, but to be able to compare you to the rest of the users. So provided you are comfortable with that, I have found it very beneficial. So just to keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, then number 2 is called Good Budget. Now, Good Budget basically allows you the ability to take the envelope budgeting concept, which is basically where you say, I have 10 envelopes in the month, one for school fees, one for transport, one for clothing, one for food, whatever. You put a little bit of money in each envelope, and that is how you budget. Okay, so you physically put cash into each envelope. Now, Good Budget really helps you to take that principle to the next level by digitizing it, okay? And you can manually import your bank transactions and view their intuitive pie charts to be able to see how your spending is allocated. There's both a free and a paid-for version available. Then number 3 is called Mint. Now, Mint is a little bit more international, not necessarily specific to South Africa, but it helps you to aggregate all your accounts in one place, and it helps you to track your net worth. And it provides really interesting add-ons to be able to access your credit score. Now, Mint makes budgeting easy by allowing you to link your accounts and show you how your spending compares to the national averages. Okay, so very similar to what 22/7 would be doing. And they help you to see if you are on track when you are starting, especially when you are just starting your budgeting process. It is completely free to use, and the financial dashboard helps you to see all of your accounts in one single place, and your transactions are categorized automatically. So as I said, very similar to 227.com. Personally, I prefer 227 just because it is South African based. Okay, so for the next category, I am going to mention 2 different softwares that you can use, specifically looking at what is happening in your business budget. Now, as you know, there are a lot of platforms available to be able to do your accounting, some of which includes QuickBooks, Sage Online, and Xero Accounting. Now, Sage Online and QuickBooks are some of the more affordable options that are available. Xero is more for larger businesses. But what is really nice about QuickBooks and Sage Online is that you're able to easily build in the budget into your platform. Okay, so once you have set up all of your categories, from a budgeting perspective, you can easily then track it to the actuals coming through as you are doing your normal processing. So if you have not explored that side of your accounting software, perhaps just have a look and see if there are budgeting features that are available. It's a good way of making sure that you are tracking it on a monthly basis, and it helps you to get to the point where when you do your monthly management accounts, you're easily able to see your actuals versus budget. Okay, so a good one to think about. There are, as I said, there are lots of other softwares available as well, but those are just the 2 I wanted to mention. And then finally, Excel, my favorite, but as I said, not necessarily always the most efficient, but with a spreadsheet, you're able to really analyze your budgeting quite well. And Excel helps organizations by using a data warehouse to hold your budget structure as well as the data. Very customizable. You would set this up according to the needs within your business, and you can easily go change it and adjust it as and when necessary. You can use it to list your expenses, resolve your basic accounting needs, although I would almost always suggest rather following the approach of some sort of software rather than Excel for your accounting. And there are really a lot of additional advanced functionalities that you can get through using Excel, some of which includes linking it up to Power BI, which gives you a nice little dashboard to see your actuals versus budget. So there is a lot that we can do in this space, and often what you would find from a business perspective specifically is that you would build in all of your assumptions and really go into a lot of detail in your Excel spreadsheet, and then the final figures will then get included within a Sage Online or a QuickBooks, okay, as your total figure for that category. So there is definitely a space for using Excel as your budgeting solution, but just don't let it end there, okay? Actually make sure that you're using it. Okay, so that gets you to a nice little summary of some tools that you might want to look at using. Would love to know which ones you choose to use, what you're using for your personal space, as well as what you're using in your business. And if you do have any questions about how to actually put a budget together for your business, again, make sure that you're checking out our Unlocking Your Inner CFO course, which is all about budgeting and helping you to get to the point where you have a nice little template you can do in Excel, okay, and build it up. But sometimes you need to go a little bit beyond that. So if you need help with putting a nice forecast together for the next year, or even beyond that, okay, starting to get into the space where you're doing potentially a 5-year or a 10-year forecast, and you're just like, I'm stumped, I don't know how to do this, let us know, okay? This is something we do. We do business valuations. We help you with the long-term forecasts, because often with funders and investors, those are the things that they're after. So if that is you and you would like some help with that, making sure that everything is sound, that the assumptions have been tested properly, and that you know that you're not in the space where there are formula errors, then let us know. Okay, so next week we are going to be chatting to an awesome entrepreneur and employee and an author. She's got so many things that she's got going on. Her name is Marnita Opperman, and she has an amazing story about how she's used budgeting to be able to transform her life completely. So make sure that you're tuning in for that testimonial. It's going to be epic. So I will see you then. Bye.